Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our second week 2 of Coffee and Convos. And we're excited to have this group with us, different group completely than last week, different conversation, but it's gonna be good. Before we get into that though, we've got to introduce ourselves and what we're drinking this morning. And so we will get that started.
All right, what's up, guys? I'm Peter. This morning, I'm drinking some Arnold Palmer. So, yeah, it's my favorite drink. I've been drinking a lot lately, so, yeah.
Do you make your own or do you buy it do you mix your own lemonade and iced tea?
No, because, whenever you make lemonade, it's just, the powder, and that lemonade just doesn't taste the same as, the normal Arnold Palmer lemonade, so I've never been able to make, a good batch of, homemade Arnold Palmer, which is weird because this gallon tastes completely different than every other gallon I've ever drank. I don't know if they had a weird batch at their place or what, but this tastes different. I don't know if it's a good different or bad different, but it's just different.
It's just different. I like,
Yeah,
you were a
I
little
don't
glitchy
know.
there. I don't know if it's just my computer or if the recording will also show it. But we never actually saw the gallon of iced tea. Or the gallon
Oh,
of
for
Arnold
real?
Palmer. You froze, and then
I
when you
saw
put it
it.
down, you started up again, which is great. I love it.
Oh,
We'll never know.
no. Okay, well, here.
There it is in all its glory. Great. Thanks for being with us, Peter. My name is Tyler. I feel silly because I'm the first one, I think. I think Lydia might be joining me, but the first one on Coffee and Convos to actually have coffee. Last time we recorded this in the afternoon, and so I wasn't needing coffee. But this morning, we're doing it in the morning, and so a little coffee will help me get going. I'm drinking Fireside. It's their Sweet Blue, which is a Brazilian coffee. I kind of think of it as my workhorse coffee. It's not like you're not going to sip it and think it's the best cup of coffee you ever had, but it's consistent and it's still a good cup of coffee. But mostly, I want to show off this mug. This is my favorite mug. I would tip up the bottom so you can see the name of it. It's a brand called Not Neutral. And for years, I've loved the way that this mug feels in my hand. I think part of it is that this is flat, so it's not rounded at the top. And so my thumb, I feel like, fits on there really nicely. So I have 5 different Not Neutral mugs that are exactly the same, except for they're different colors. And it's my favorite coffee drinking mug. So I'm in a good place this morning.
I don't have a mug. I'm not as fun because this is iced coffee. But my name's Lydia, and this is one of those pre-made caramel coffee drinks that's in the refrigerating area. It's really good.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It is very beautiful. I'm Courtney, and I'm actually drinking coffee today, which is weird. It's right at the edge of the time when I can do that. So this is my mug. It's not as cool as Tyler's.
It might be cooler.
It's hard to say, honestly. But this is my riff on a bulletproof coffee. So I have coconut butter in here and a little bit of almond milk, and it's really good.
I don't know that I've heard of coconut butter versus coconut oil. What's the...
It has coconut meat in it as well, and
Okay.
Coconut oil. It's all
Okay.
of that together.
Oh.
Really good.
Wait, didn't I see you sipping on something else, or did you already introduce that?
This is my morning drinkable skincare vitamin thing.
I love that.
I don't know. I love my drink.
What does that taste like?
Like a little orange-ish, a little lemony. It's really good.
I was listening to a podcast, not that recently, but I was in the last several months, and Kristen Bell was being interviewed. And apparently she is known for her many drinks. When she shows up somewhere in the morning, she's got 5 different, she's got, water and coffee, and she's got her skincare drink and her green tea and her smoothie. And so she comes fully stocked. And when I heard that, I thought, I feel like Courtney could travel well with Kristen Bell.
That sounds right to me. I'll call her.
Very good.
All right, I'm Hailey, and today I have my caramel iced coffee in my Olivet cup because I thought it was very fitting.
Very good. Wow, 3 coffee drinkers this morning. I'm really glad that I'm not alone in that.
I'm Matt, and I'm just drinking iced water.
Oh, that is so perfect for you, Matt. No lemon or lime juice in your ice water this morning?
No,
Couldn't get your mom to get any from the
we're
store?
out of stock.
Ugh, that's just the worst. I like your cup though. It kind of reminds me of, do you know the cup that in Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, when Luke
Blue
is
milk.
drinking with his uncle and aunt
Yeah.
at their meal, they're drinking, I think, milk, and it's like in a blue tall glass like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Or no, it's actual blue milk.
No,
It's
well,
blue.
the
The cup
glass
is-
they're drinking is also like a bluish green,
Oh,
and it
Wow.
very much reminds me of your mug. So very Star Warsy of you, which I can appreciate. All right, well, I think Courtney's going to get our conversation started, but before she does, I just want to thank all of you for being here and just offering your thoughts, opinions, perspective, and honesty, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah. I also want to say thank you for being here. So there's that.
you're
Um,
welcome.
I guess my first question is, I think I want to know, when did you guys realize that your senior year was kind of over, as you had like anticipated it was going to be? Like, when did it sink in for you that this, like, the end of your high school career was going to be totally different from maybe what you had hoped it would look like or had dreamed it would look like?
Probably when they told us, oh, I don't know about other schools, but they told us, like, if you're passing all your classes, then you're just done. That's what they told us. So it was just kind of weird because it kind of took me from this working, productive environment to now I'm just done and I don't really have to worry about it. But yeah.
Yeah, they did the same thing with us, but it was like an option of like you could either pass and just like take the grade, or you could like do the online assignments each week and then you'd like get A's pretty much. So,
Yeah, us too.
but I did not choose that option. I chose to pass, which I'm fine with. I think I really like it really set in like more recently, like within the past couple weeks, just because I'm like next week we would have been like done with school. So I'm just kind of like, it's just like seems normal now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'll tell you, it was like, I don't even know, mid-April maybe, because it was like that March 12th. It was a Thursday, and all my teachers were like, no, we're not going to close, but we're making like all of these Google Classrooms just in case. But they were like, no, we're not closing. Like, I don't even know who closed, but that just opened the conversation about possibly us closing. Everybody was in denial about it. And then like all of these state competitions for basketball, swim, all the winter sports got canceled. So then we're like, shoot, what's going on? So yeah, I mean, then we closed. So, and then everything came out. So like mid-April.
Peter, really quick, did you feel like not being able to do those like winter sport competitions, like, because you're a swimmer, obviously, like very talented, did you feel
Right.
like that kind of ended your senior year early for you? Like maybe it really set in April, but did you feel like missing out on that competition or like the end of that season was kind of a big deal?
Yeah, it really sucked because we finally qualified for states in anything. Like we haven't had a state swimmer at our high school in like 20 years. So it was kind of like a big deal for us to finally qualify. And we've been trying to qualify for like ever since my freshman year. So the way that I described it to adults, because a lot of them don't seem to understand like how everything is like, now it might not be to this extent, but this is how it felt to us, is like you want a kid, right? And you're trying to get pregnant with your significant other, and you're trying for however long, and then you finally have a kid, and then you have a miscarriage. That's kind of how it felt. And yeah.
So it was big loss for you. It wasn't like, oh, I can't swim my senior state meet, or I can't do this, because obviously, I mean, your comparison is a very big, great loss, and what you're resonating with is that this wasn't just like, well, for you at least. I'm not speaking for Lydia, Matthew, Hailey, and all their seniors, but for your experience, this felt weighty and real, and there was significant loss for you in this season.
Yeah, it was huge because like multiple years straight, we were so close. We were just so close, like not even half a second off of the cut. And then we finally get it, like multiple people, it wasn't just me. We finally get it, and then it gets canceled. And then I was like, whatever, they aren't going to cancel nationals. There's no way. It's way too big of a meet. And then they cancel nationals. And then I was like, whatever, there's still long course nationals in the summer. Like that can't get canceled. That's in a long time. And then that gets canceled like 2 weeks later. So now it's like, shoot, what have I even been training for like 10 months straight? Like, what the heck? So, yeah, I don't know. It just sucks. It's a really big loss.
Sure.
For me, I'm not really sure it's set in yet. Like, because all of our stuff at our school is like, so like we get out May 21st, and then like graduation isn't until June 8th. So I think I'm still kind of at the point where I'm trying to deny that it is, because I got to finish all my seasons, which I'm super grateful for. Like, dance team ended right before this all started, so I got a senior night and I got everything. But I think it's just like when graduation rolls around and they're still not sure if we're gonna have one, like they're trying to come up with alternatives, but they're not entirely sure. I think when that rolls around and like I can't say goodbye to all my friends, I think that's gonna be the hardest part.
Yeah. I happened to text someone yesterday, and I was looking through, as a student, and I was looking through the old text messages, and this was one of the texts was right when all this stuff started happening, and I think we were still learning so much about the reality and the gravity of this all, that when they started canceling like big things, we were like, what in the world is happening? And the text I was having was right when they suspended the NBA season, which was, that's never happened since I've been around. And so I was just recalling that week and how bizarre it was. Did any of you, because they canceled school after a Thursday, so it started on a Friday, and the original cancellation was going to be through spring break. So I think it was 3 weeks. And that still felt like, this is so bizarre. Like, I can't imagine. But did any of you in that week, in those days, think, well, I'm not going back to school. I'm not going back to high school. Like, this is it. Did you have those thoughts, or did you think this is just going to be a nice long spring break?
No, I definitely had those thoughts. Like, I think that this whole time I've been kind of like, I don't know, just been waiting for the worst, because that seems to be like what has happened.
Especially with 2020.
Yeah, just like in general. So like everything in the future too, like I might not, like I'm going to Oakland in the fall, and like they've already said that like our classes are probably going to be mostly online. So I'm like, I might not even be able to go and like move into the dorms in the fall. So I'm just kind of like assuming the worst and hoping for the best. So like that's how I was feeling during those couple weeks too.
Yeah, when school closed for spring break, I told my mom, I was like, yo, we're not going back. She's like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, dude, we're not going back. There's no way. And here we are. So, Mom, I told you so.
Well, I think it really like set in, like it was just so weird because I work at Jets Pizza, and
Big dough guy.
well, now I'm actually a dough guy. I make pizzas now. Anyways, but I came into work one time, and we lost like half of our staff. We had like 6 people working, which we usually have like 12 or 13 people working. It was just so weird. And now we're like closing earlier, and we have to do all this like sanitizing stuff, and we have to like close temporarily for like an hour because we can't even do the work that we're supposed to do, because that's when it really like started becoming like real. I was like, what is going on? Like, this is insane. But yeah.
Yeah, in those first weeks, I think it was mostly when like you would go to the grocery store and like you would see a couple people wearing masks, but like it wasn't like widely spread back then. And I think just then I was like, if people are this concerned about it already, like I think, and like even with like some of the, like Matthew said, like the pizza places, like even like shutting down their lobbies and like all the McDonald's and everything, like that was just like the complete sign to me that like there's no way that like if we're canceling like the NBA, like they're not going to let us go back into school, like
Yeah.
have 300 people in the cafeteria at one time. Like it's,
As you think back, and not even back, as you're currently in this experience, what have you found as of now? And I recognize that you may look back in 2 weeks, 6 months, a year, whatever, and think differently. But what has been the hardest thing to lose? Because I would guess for most of you, it's not, man, I was really looking forward to finishing that final paper for English, or, I was really hoping for that math final that I've been working towards. But because Hailey, you mentioned the reality of I'm not going to say goodbye to my friends like I thought I was going to. And so I wonder for you all, what has been the thing that's the hardest to come to grips with, that this isn't going to happen the way you thought it was?
I think for me it was the graduation ceremony, because they start telling you about this like in your first years of school, and then like you see like I watched my brother go through it, and then I watched Montana go through it, and like I was just so excited, like I finally got my chance, and then like it just like is ripped away.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of, in some ways you practice it from kindergarten when you do kindergarten graduation, and for
Right.
you, Davison, you walk through Thompson Elementary, and then some schools have 8th grade graduation, and you the cap and gown. And so it's kind of this, progressive thing that you even practice and work towards since you start school.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
I think the part that kind of sucks the most is like lack of closure in every way possible. Like I don't know. To me, it almost seems like, I don't know. Like we didn't have, like, for example, we didn't have a banquet for like swim season. So it's just kind of awkward. Like, is it over? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like it's over technically, but like emotionally, it's kind of not. Like swimming was like a huge part about my high school experience. And like, I don't know, the lack of closure just kind of sucks. But I don't know. That's the biggest thing for me.
I'm gonna be honest and say, and I didn't really have like that much involvement with like sports in school and stuff, but I do not care. And that's just how I feel. Like I was pretty much done with school by like February. I could not take it anymore. And so as bad as it sounds, it was kind of like this, I don't know, like I don't want to say like it was a blessing, because it really isn't, but like it was just kind of convenient because now I'm done. And I feel like if I kept going how I was going, like regularly till the end of the year, I feel like my grades would be way worse, because I just had like an insane amount of like senioritis, and it wasn't looking good. And this kind of, yeah, I'm just, yeah.
So, and we kind of, like, I kind of had an idea that your perspective may be a little bit different than other, because you're not sensing the same kind of loss. But so would you describe, and again, we're not terming this whole pandemic in terms of like it's been a blessing because you didn't have to worry about your grades.
No, that's not what I'm
But
saying.
did you have a sense of relief, like, oh, well, that was?
Yeah, it was like, I was talking to my mom about it, and she was just laughing because like I dodged a bullet, and it was just like, it was so weird. It was so weird. It felt like this weight was taken off my shoulders, but at the same time, it's not a good thing that's happening. Like,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I like really feel the loss of like just like a lot of things, I think. Like one thing being my tennis season, because like we went through like half a week of tryouts, and then he like canceled practice or tryouts on the Thursday for like some other reason, and then like Friday everything was done. So I literally got like 3 days to play with like my what would have been like my team, and like I've been preparing for like me and my friend were gonna try to be like on a one doubles team, and like we were just so excited, and I've been like looking forward to it for so long, and then it was like, oh, just kidding, you're not gonna play again. And then like other things that I've been missing is like what would have been like the last day of school, because like we always have like a big like party thing and like by the senior benches, and like I don't remember my last day of school, like being honest, like I might have skipped my last hour, I don't know, I don't remember. Don't know what happened. So it's just like all that stuff is just kind of like, it's just sad to see it like go and not even get a chance to like go back into the school at all and like see your teachers again.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if I had more involvement in like sports and other things like that, I definitely would probably care a lot more. But I was just ready to leave. Like,
Now,
That
Matthew,
feels-
you weren't involved in, you didn't play a sport, but you were involved in band stuff. You were,
yeah,
in
a
Flint Symphony.
lot of band stuff. Yeah.
Now, I'm certain, I guess I don't know this, but I'm pretty certain that you would have had some sort of spring recitals, concerts. And that's something that you're very talented in. I believe you're getting scholarship for college for your musical ability.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that you're obviously invested in, that you've been working towards for a long time. But do you still not sense any loss in like, well, I can't have my spring musical? Or
I don't know why I don't. Like, I feel like I should, but I don't.
I think that's honest. I was curious.
I think that's fine. Like everybody's gonna feel everything differently, so you can't like don't feel bad.
It'll probably hit me later, because it really takes me a while for things to settle in. Like the fact that I'm going to college. I'm not in that mode at all. Like, I don't think anyone is right now, but I've never been in this mode of like college. I don't know. It just takes a while for it to settle in my brain.
That's interesting when you say that. I also think to when Peter talked about not having like the banquet for swim season. I think about how important, as just kind of the DNA and how we're wired as people, that we rely on like these rhythms and things that we expect to have some semblance of stability, or just some knowledge of where we are in the scheme of things. And so I wonder if you sense that because you didn't have this structure to finish one chapter of your lives, that you feel like it'll be harder to start something because you didn't have that resolve with one area that you expect. Like you didn't have your graduations, you didn't have, all of those things that would mark the end of one chapter aren't taking place like they would. Do you think, and maybe you haven't spent any time thinking about this, but do you have any sense that it's going to make it challenging to start something new without this closure for, what you just ended? That's for all of you, if anyone has any thoughts on that.
No, I don't think so. And honestly, I don't see how everyone's gonna, like, how are we gonna act if we can finally be around each other again? Like, how's everyone gonna feel around, like, being in crowds and stuff? Or, like, if we're starting college. But me personally, I don't think it would be that big of a, like, change. I don't know. If I went into something new, I think it would be
You
fine.
think you'd be able to start well?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I guess this is like a different topic, but I don't know. But I was wondering, how are we, like, as a whole people, how are we going to feel about being in crowds and like being around each other in public and stuff after all this? Because we're probably gonna act a lot different and like set things in place that'll make it maybe a bit safer or separated, which sounds insane, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen.
I think we've already seen a difference in how like celebrations are going to look, whether it's a graduation or your birthday or people who had to cancel weddings. Like, we're seeing all of these pretty big milestone moments having to shift, and I think they're going to continue to shift as we figure out what does it mean to be safe, not only like to take care of ourselves, but to take care of the people that we love and the people in our community. And so I wonder, like, do you guys feel that, you know, you maybe have ideas on how you can bring, like, if you feel like you're really missing this closure of this year, like, do you have ideas on how you can bring closure to some of those areas of your life and those things that, you know, you're feeling that maybe you're missing out on the celebration or the ceremony of it? Are there ways that you feel like you can bring closure, I guess, is something I'm wondering.
Yeah, actually just last week. Well, so this week, this Saturday was supposed to be my senior prom. And so obviously very bummed about that because I've gone to prom for 3 years. Like I wanted to get my senior prom. And so last week my family threw me and my boyfriend a porch prom. So they decorated the porch and like they had music playing and we got like luckies and we got all dressed up and took pictures. So that was just really nice because, you know, I think even though it wasn't what was supposed to happen, in a way it was almost nicer because like my whole family was there and like we got to just like be together, I guess. And it was just something that, you know, came unexpected out of it, but in a really good way.
That's so
Sweet.
cute. I love that.
Because I feel like things like prom and, you know, or like your swim banquet, those things might, you know, okay, we're thinking big picture of life. They might seem like small things, but they are like signs that point to the end of something. And so I think however you can find ways to mark those moments, and like you're saying, your senior prom is going to be something you will literally not forget anything about because it was such a unique circumstance and the way that your family came together to do that for you. And so I think it's really important, as we might feel like we're missing out on things, to, I think this is where like our collective imagination can really help us as we move into the future of like, what is it going to look like if I don't get to have my graduation open house? And what do I want to feel like? And I think a lot of that is like support from the people around me and celebration of what I've accomplished. And, you know, how can we do those things together?
Yeah, I do think it's really beautiful to see the ways that tribes, families, whatever you want to, you know, are finding ways to celebrate and to honor their people. You know, the way that your family did that for you, Hailey, and I just think in some ways there's more intention coming from in some of these things because, you know, maybe parents are recognizing, oh, I really want to, you know, honor Peter and what he's done. And so there's new thought that's coming and new dreaming and imagination. I do think that is a beautiful picture into the resolve and imagination and the way that we support one another as humanity. I think that's really cool. Peter, I'm remembering something that you said to me at the beginning of this, and you were reflecting on how crazy it was for you to be a senior, recognizing that in however many years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, there will be people in middle school, high school who are reading about this pandemic in their history books. Do you feel like, or what sense of like, I guess just what does that make you feel to think, man, this is a big moment that we are living in right now. How does that fit in your framework of how you see the world, how you see yourselves, how you see people, and just what does that do to you?
I don't know. It's just kind of crazy because like it was freshman year world history class. I was talking to my friend and I was like, dude, I hope we're in a history book for something. Like, how cool would that be? Like, your name's in a history book. Like, obviously, Peter Adams isn't going to be in a history book for the pandemic, but I mean, we all experienced it. So, like, kind of we're in it. And I was just like, dude, how cool would it be to be in a history book? And, like, I don't want to be in a history book anymore because this kind of sucks. So, yeah, I mean, that sucks, but I don't know. I just hope they get the story right for the pandemic somehow. I don't know what the right story is or like how you can mess it up, but I don't know. It's just like, dang, we're gonna be in history books now. Like, wow.
I wanna touch on something that we've kind of talked about a little bit, but I want to ask you all, how have you seen, like, for some of you, you may say that your parents are struggling with this change or this reality more than you are. For some, it's not a matter of more or less. It's, both you and your parents are struggling. But what has that been like, for your families as your parents have also processed this loss of watching you graduate, watching you have end of the year banquets, and how has that been for your parents?
I showed my
mom's.
mom this like
Oh,
TikTok video of, I'm sure you guys have seen it or like some iteration. It's like emojis of like people in the seats for graduation. There's the graduation music going on, and then there's like emojis for the faculty staff like on stage, and then there's like the emoji for you, and you're slowly just like going across the screen, or I guess maybe this way, I don't know. And I showed it to my mom and she started crying because like she wants me to have it, but like honestly I don't really care. Like, I don't know, just give me my paper and like let me just go. Like, I don't know. Like, it'd be cool to have a graduation. I'm not saying graduation is stupid. It's just like I'm okay with not having graduation. Like, it's not gonna make or break my experience. Like, we always have college, but I don't know. She thought that was really sad, but my dad's all right. I don't think he like, obviously it sucks, but I think my dad's fine. But my mom just needs to stay off the internet, to be honest. It's like it's driving her crazy, but I don't know, whatever.
Tyler, can you cut that from this
Yeah, we
recording?
can edit that out.
Steffi's watching.
I'll make him freeze again.
oh.
I do think you're right, Peter, though. I think sometimes our parents' dreams and hopes for us are a lot stronger and more tied to these like events, or because I think, it's like the classic, like moms are at kindergarten, but somebody says like they grow up so fast, just wait, like they'll be walking across the stage in their cap and gown, and they're not getting to like have that moment to celebrate. Because I mean, all of you, I don't know all of your parents well, but they have put a lot of themselves into helping you get to this point. So they're kind of missing out on some of that celebration as well. So that's a tough place to be in, I think.
I know my mom has tried like really, really hard to like make this as good as it can be. Like she's like I turned 18 like 2 weeks ago or something, and she like went all out, had like the whole, like she had like my family come down, and like we all like sat apart in our garage, and like she had like some of my friends get together, and we all like were at a park, and we were like sitting on different picnic tables, but like we were all like sat there for a while, and like at the end of the day she like told me, she was like, I'm exhausted. Just because like she's like, I can tell that she's just like working her butt off just to like make this not as like sad and like make it as good as it can be for like me and my friends and stuff. So I don't doubt that she'll do the same thing for like if we don't have graduation or like prom or anything like that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think my parents are kind of trying to stay on the positive side, like not let their emotions like show, because like obviously they know that if they get emotional, like I'm going to get emotional. So I think we're all just trying to stay kind of positive because they haven't really said that graduation is canceled. They have come out and say prom is canceled, which is why we did the prom. But I think for like that kind of stuff, we're still trying to say there's a possibility that it's going to happen, because I think that's the only way like we as a family are really going to like trudge through.
Matthew, I don't want to not give you an opportunity. I don't know if you have anything to add. I know your experience. I think one of your texts to me about graduation, I think you could honestly just email me my diploma at this point. I would guess that your parents probably don't.
My parents don't
exactly
like
the
that,
same,
no.
But do you want to add anything to that, or are you?
One thing that we don't think is going to happen. I was going to have like a recital for like my open house. It was like a senior recital, so I'd like play my French horn, or I'll play guitar too, or whatever. But that's not happening. And then my mom's like, I'm not ready to let that go, that you're not doing that. And I'm like happy that I'm not doing it, because I didn't want to do it in the first place. That's usually how this goes, is like anything music wise, most of it isn't my decision. But and I kind of dodged another bullet here. But yeah, so that's not happening. And then my mom is really upset about it, but it's my thing, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I get that parent thing for sure. Like I remember any big moment in our lives are not just big for us, but also big for our parents. And so I think it's good to just acknowledge that this is not just hard for you, but there are other people who have cheered you on, who have sacrificed, who have, done things to help you be where you are now. And there is loss for them as well. And so I appreciate all of you kind of acknowledging just your parents' role, even if you guys are at different places where, in this grief or in this loss, acknowledging that you're not in this alone.
I feel like a bad person from my perspective, because I'm like, I don't care about any of this. But
no, I think that's like a really common thought, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if you were to ask like a group consensus about like what you're feeling, I feel like most high schoolers would like be feeling that way, because it's just like, I can't wait for this to be done. Can't wait to be over with,
But I feel like later in life, I'm gonna feel probably like I'm gonna think back and be like, wow, that sucked. Like that was just a horrible year. But I don't know. Maybe that'll happen, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I almost want to kind of ask why do you feel like that makes you a horrible, or why do you feel like a horrible person? Because you have like, because that's your honesty and that's how you feel. And obviously you shouldn't feel bad about feeling that. But I think you probably see how hard this is for other people, and because you're like, maybe you just have a sense of maybe I should care more, or maybe I should feel differently. But I appreciate your honesty and just saying, you know what, this is. There was a sense of relief, and I'm not glad this happened, but I'm also not disappointed that high school's over for me. And so I appreciate your honesty in that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure if I was in Peter's shoes, I would feel pretty horrible, just because like nationals getting canceled, like that's insane. And because I'm not involved in anything like that, so I just see it differently. But yeah.
I have kind of a final question, but before I ask that, I wanted to see if anybody else had any thoughts or any reflections about anything we've talked about so far. One thing, if you have thoughts, and maybe you don't, maybe it's just something that you can kind of leave with, but during this time of loss, I'm sure there has been some sense of grief for most of you, a sense of just change and the inability to control what's coming at you because of all of that. Have you found any practices or habits or things that you can do that have been helpful for you or healthy for you as you've experienced all of this loss and grief and everything? Anything that you've started doing or anything that you had been doing that has been helpful for you in the midst of all of this?
Also, to add to that, maybe something that you've stopped doing that has helped you as well.
That's
Like
good.
if there's anything that you had to stop doing in order to maintain health.
For a while
I
there,
guess oh, hold on, you go.
sorry. I said for a while there, like, I would try, like, just baking a bunch of stuff, and then I would, like, go and deliver it to, like, my friends. Because, like, obviously I don't need all the baked goods at my house, or else I would eat them all. But, so I would, like, go and, like, take them places. And it was just nice for, like, a lot of reasons, because, like, it'd give me a reason to, like, be by myself and, like, go drive around, listen to my music, you know, and just, like, take time for, like, me to just, like, breathe. And then it was also nice because I, like, saw my friends for a little bit and, like, made them feel better. And it was, like, I just like baking too, so it was fun. Go ahead, Peter.
All right. I don't know. This is a little bit like different than most people. I've been playing a lot of video games. That has been great. And I stopped working out like almost completely. That's been awesome. Which, like, some people during this quarantine, they're like, yeah, I started running. Like, I've run a few days, but like not a lot. But a lot of people are like, yo, I started working out more. I feel great. Like, this is the best I've ever been. But I've stopped doing that, and I feel like for me at least, it was like a good move because I've just been go for so long, and like I felt like my body has just needed like a really long break.
Hmm.
So I don't know, that's nice. And then video games, okay, people, at least like people who I know, well, I guess my family gets on me for how much video games I play, but really I only play like when my roommate's on. So it's like our only way to connect. So I can play with my roommate and his friends. So I don't know. It's cool. It's almost like we're together almost kind of. But yeah, so those two are the biggest changes.
I'm definitely one of those runner people that Peter was talking about. Um, I I don't know. I just like one day I was like, hey, like running sounds fun. Like let's just like I was never really able to do it because dance was so busy and like my body like couldn't handle more stress because I was already putting a lot on it. So like after all that like stopped, I was like, well, I have to stay active in some way. Like you can't go from dancing for 5 days a week to nothing. Like it's not going to be good. And so I started just running around my subdivision and like I would put my music in and I found like my favorite place to run like back in like the condos in my subdivision, and it's super quiet and like no one's out, so I don't feel judged, which is the worst part about running. Like I always feel like people are judging me as I run. And like I just turn on like country music or even like the Christian music. Like I love running to that. So that is what I have started and it's been really good.
I've been, since I'm still working, I've been spending a lot of time and money into guitar. So I just recently built a guitar and then I just bought a new amp last week. So I've been having a lot of time and opportunities to like play more and learn more. And I really haven't had that opportunity before all of this because I've just been so busy with work and school. So it's kind of nice to be able to kind of just disappear for 2 hours and just play music for me. I mean, obviously, that's what I love doing the most. So it's just really nice having this time to do that because I haven't really been able to do it before.
Great. Courtney, do you have any parting words or thoughts before we conclude?
Not really, just thank you guys for sharing. Thanks for your honesty. And I really think people are going to resonate with each of you for different reasons. And also thank you for, taking into account, Tyler kind of hit on this earlier, but the fact that you have your feelings, but your families also have their feelings, and that everyone around you is processing this in their own way. So thanks for being gracious in this conversation. And I hope that we can all continue that, because I think that's what we need more of, is people who can recognize that their feelings are not the only ones that exist or are real, and that we should give each other that grace. So thank you for doing that today.
Yeah, no, that's actually exactly what I was going to touch on. Peter says I need to stop running and doing all things with my body. Hailey says I started running during this time. I think both are right and good. Matthew says I don't have much of a sense of loss. And then in the same breath you say, but I can't imagine, what Peter, who has been working towards nationals, and that loss. And so I think the way forward in humanity in a pandemic, but also just in times of not pandemic, is that kind of empathy and understanding, and extending that to people who you see the exact same way, and people who you don't understand why they see things or think things that a different way. And so I think the four of you have really modeled that kind of grace and empathy in this conversation. And so I'm grateful for each one of you and your honesty, your vulnerability, just being a part of this conversation. I agree with Courtney that there's going to be people who resonate with this. And I think even beyond seniors, I think there will be people who are of all ages who can resonate with things that you've shared. So thanks for everyone that's been a part of this. I'm out of coffee, so that means it's time to go. Next week, if you're tuning in, we're going to talk a little bit, and we kind of got into this towards the end, but we're going to spend a little time talking about rest. And so we'll have some different students on, and talking about those practices and habits of slowing down and resting our minds and bodies and hearts and souls. So thanks again, everyone who's been a part of it. Thanks to everyone who's watched, and hope you have a great week. See ya.